The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a long hiatus. It was about 4 or 5 weeks we've been on vacation, huh, Greg?
38 days.
38 motherfucking days. And I'm happy to be back. And we got a lot of special things happening over here at Second Line Arts Collective. And we're going to, just right off the bat, we should let y'all know we are going from every week to 2 times a month because honestly, we need to hire like 20 more people. And so until we do that, we're gonna take this podcast down a notch for the rest of this year at least, and then we'll recalibrate in December and see what's up. But yeah, Greg, what's up, man? You back from the road? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here with you. It's nice to be back here after our hiatus. And just so everyone knows, it's not like we were taking a vacation. We were working somewhere else, so we weren't able to work here. But I was on the road with Michael Bublé in the UK, and it was a absolutely amazing tour. And I'm happy to be home for a couple of days, and then we're back out. You've been busy too.
Oh yeah, man. I've been on the road, being a dad, running our nonprofit, all kind of stuff going on over here, man. It's what I do, baby. It's what I do best.
That's it, man. Living the dream.
Yeah, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about our guest tonight? He's kind of famous, man.
He is kind of famous, and he's about to be real famous.
That's right.
We're very honored to call this gentleman a former student of ours. He attended I believe the first Sanaa Music Workshop in 2017. He's a fantastic pianist. He's an incredible vocalist, and more importantly, he's a wonderful human being. I believe he comes from Laplace, Louisiana. He might correct me in just a moment, but this cat has been on American Idol. He just got a new record deal, and he's currently in and out of the road also, and trying to make a name for himself and get his band out there. And man, you guys are about to hear this cat everywhere in the world. So we're really happy to have him here, and we're really looking forward to this opportunity to sit down and talk with one of our favorite musicians, Mr. Kevin Gullage, before he becomes too famous.
Kevin, welcome to the show, babe.
Hey fellas, how you doing?
Man, everything's good, man. How you been?
I've been doing pretty okay, pretty awesome.
All right, so Kevin got this thing where everything is pretty okay. It's a generation XYZ. I don't know what generation we on right now, Greg. Whatever
I'm not sure either.
Generation okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Kevin, man, you did something that is incredible. It's like kind of like being in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like only a very small percentage of people make it onto the American Idol stage, and you did it from a place from New Orleans, and it ain't a whole lot of motherfuckers coming from New Orleans either.
Yeah,
but for whatever reason, and I want to start there because you're so young, and it's the biggest thing that you've done so far, not the biggest thing that you're gonna do. So I kind of want to start at American Idol. What was it like the first night on that stage?
Ooh, first day, first night I got there. Gosh, well, since I came in the time of COVID, I had to do a Zoom audition first, and that was great. I got to perform, I think, 2 songs, and instantly they were like, "Hey, we want to send you to another producer. Just stay on the line. Just stay there." And next thing you know, I was in front of another producer, and they were like, "Yeah, man, we want to send you. We want to send you to LA." They said, "Is anyone else there with you?" And of course, I said, "My dad's here." And they said, "Call him." And he called and said, "Hey, how are you?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm good." Yeah. I said, "Well, would it be okay with you if your son auditioned in front of Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan. And he goes, yeah, I think that'd be okay. So I fly into LA, and oh my gosh, instantly. So in the airport, we're all looking for something called welcome wagon. That's what they say for the idol people. It's welcome wagon. I think I was the second person there. There was another guy from Bay Area named Milo Boland, and Milo was there early. I was like, okay, just two people in this welcome wagon? Cool. Two quickly turned into about 15 or 16 people in one welcome wagon. And that welcome wagon turned into 32 people in one bus, and then another 32 people in another bus. And then when we got to the hotel, it was like 150 something people there. Now, what people don't know is there's multiple days of auditions. So there were 150 people in our first group, then 150 people in another group, and then in Austin, 150, another 150, and then Nashville, 150, and another 150.
Wow.
And it was terrifying. I mean, I looked around, I was like, there are a lot of people around my age, some a little bit older, some a little bit younger, but they are amazing singers. And instantly, it was, all right, sit back. Don't be all in people's faces. Don't be like, hi, my name's Kevin, you know. And you guys knowing me, I'm very much a hi, my name is Kevin person. So I was like, okay, Kevin, just don't do what you're used to. Just sit back and watch. And I mean, I was just sitting there like, man, there are a lot of nervous people here. And it didn't occur to me that I wasn't feeling nervous, you know? Like, it didn't occur to me that I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You know, they do B-roll and footage, and they were like, hey, can you pace back and forth? And I'm not gonna lie, I looked so awkward doing it because I just didn't know how to pace. I didn't know how to look scared. I looked more like I was plotting something than I was nervous about anything.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So during the audition, I go in there and I sing my first song. And it was That's How Strong My Love Is by Otis Redding. And man, just seeing their faces while I was singing that song, it shifted everything. Like now I'm not nervous, but I'm at the same time like, oh, that's Lionel Richie. That's Lionel Richie over there. He's not a wax figure. That's Lionel Richie. And that's Katy Perry, and that's Luke Bryan. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I start singing, and it just felt relaxed and it felt calm. And next thing I know, I was moving on to the next round. I got to Hollywood Week, and I learned out of the 150 people I saw during my audition, the 200 and something people I saw when I got to Hollywood Week, they were far more intimidating than the people I saw, because they had people who were very similar to me, who were sit back, relax, remember this is what you do. This is what you do. So I did my genre challenge, and it seems that they liked it, so I moved on. Then I did my duet challenge with this singer from Florida named Yoli Mayor. And when I tell you she's amazing, she's amazing. And then I did my showstopper. And after my showstopper, I told my dad later, I said, Dad, they're going to send me home tomorrow. And he said, Kevin, you don't know that. I said, Dad, they're going to send me home tomorrow. I said, Kevin, yeah. I said, Dad, they're going to send me home tomorrow. And he was like, well, Kevin, okay, well, just sit back and see. And sure enough, they sent me home the next day. And of all this time, there was one thing I told myself. I put in the work. I gave four performances that were to the top of my ability, to an extent. You know, there's always better and bigger that you can do, but I gave 4 that were to the top of my ability at that time. Now after I got to after when it came time for the stuff to air, they showed my audition, and I was not prepared for the different type of attention you get when you're on national television.
Mm.
You know, and
Yeah.
it was weird for me. You know, I had a small fan base. It was small. It was local, and it did stretch out, but mainly local.
Are you talking right now? You're talking before the show, right?
Yeah, before the show, I had
You just going on. You not let me and Greg get in here, bro.
Okay, hey, go for it, man. If you have a question, I'm
yeah, because you know this is my show. You know,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I do. I want to back up because I do understand that, you know, fame is fame, in my opinion, Greg, is fucked up. And if it wasn't, we would still have Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, and all these other people, because that's how I know it's a weird place to be psychologically and emotionally. So I do want to touch on that, but I want to back up to the failure, and I want Greg to get in here, or what some would perceive as failure.
Okay.
Of you getting sent home. And I just want to sit in that for a second and just kind of see what you thought about it. And I'm curious what Greg thinks about what you thought about it.
Okay. What I thought about failure.
Well, I just getting sent home.
Getting sent home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did you think that was failure or what?
Not at all.
All right, there you go.
You know, a lot of people can say this, and being in the industry of television or movies, you start to see a lot of times it's a movie, it's television. There's a plot that's normally sort of established. You know, it's like if we're having this giant show and it's like there's a hero and there's a villain. At some point you expect the villain to lose. And you know, it's like okay, at some point Lex Luthor isn't going to proceed. You know, so you have to understand there's a plot, there's a set way of things happening. There's a look that people are looking for. There's a feeling people are asking for, and they want you to put that out there. So, yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I totally agree with that. And that's what show business is. You know, people want to see what they want to see. And sometimes you got to give it to them, you know? But man, I'm curious, like, again, like, you know, I used to grow up watching American Idol with my mom, and this is back when TV was a thing and no one really watches TV anymore. But I remember, like, I guess the first couple seasons it came out, just, you know, every Thursday night or so, like just sitting around the TV with my parents and you know, we were like actively cheering for people. So I'm sure like you had similar experiences too, kind of like just observing that particular TV show as a musician. And so I'm wondering, like, was there anything that surprised you about the filming process or the experience of being on the show versus the experience of like watching the show on TV?
Man, it is meticulous. That has to be the most surprising thing about it. Everything is on a schedule. When you talk, when you don't, when you sit, when you pee, when you run, when you walk, all of it, it's to a schedule. That, and also actually the psychological side of it. And Darian, I'm hoping that I'm not jumping into what you wanted to talk about too early. And if so, just say, hold up, man. Give me a second, you know, hit me with the Kyrie Lee.
You got it.
Well, honestly, the psychological portion is what people don't know about. On the first night, before you even get to audition, you on Zoom have to fill out a 350 question psychiatric evaluation in under an hour.
What? I failed. I failed already.
And man, you have no idea. It was what made it like so difficult. Ooh, a good deal of these questions were very double negative questions. Like, and the range of question would differ. It would vary. So it'd be like one question 2. Have you ever felt alone? And you're like, sure, why not? You're like, everybody feels alone. So you answer that. And then it's like, question 5. Have you ever felt like there was a metal band constricting your head to the point where it almost pops, but it doesn't, but you feel like it may? And you're just like,
What?
And you're looking at it, you're like,
Why do you think they were asking all these questions? Like, what's the intention behind that?
there is a lot of strain in Idol, and not just Idol, in television. There's a lot of emotional strain, mental strain. You have to be ready for certain things, mentally, physically, all of it. Like during my audition time, I was up at 3 a.m. every morning, and because call was 6, I was up at 3 and went to the gym for 3:30, literally just to wake up, get myself centered during that time. And that was enough to hold me. That was enough to hold me in a good position.
Bruh, I think the psych evaluation is so that they can manipulate people and audiences to get the ratings and sell. Stay with me. And to sell the ads that they need, because you got to keep people there. So if you look at any TV show, motherfuckers is putting certain types of people together to keep the audience interested.
Yeah.
So that was their way to say, okay, Kev is this kind of person. We need like 3 of those, and we need like 2 of this personality type. And they go, because if it wasn't so, they asked you 5 questions, man. They asked you 350 questions, made you do it in an hour. They was like, okay, how do you work under pressure?
But
dumb shit.
Also you have to think about who you're about to be in front of. That's the other side of it. They have to make sure that not only are you safe, but Lionel Richie's safe, Katy Perry safe, and Luke Bryan safe. You know, there's that, because there were also questions like, are you quick to resort to violence? Are you quick to?
Yes, I am.
You know, it's like, man. And you're scared to answer these questions wrong. You're like, this is a psychiatric evaluation. Is it one of those there's no wrong answer types, or is it one of those you get brought home if you answer wrong type things?
Do you feel like those questions were like, kind of to add on to what Daria was saying, like, do you feel like they were looking for psychiatrically sound people because they wanted to have healthy, fully operating people ready for the show? Or do you feel like they were like, oh wait, we could throw this one crazy ass motherfucker over here to fight this person, and that's gonna make great TV? Like, what was your impression on like how that was orchestrated?
My impression was, okay, there's a lot of, all 3 of us can say this, and we can all say it loud and proud, because Darian, you've been functioning out of New Orleans as well as New York. G, you've been around New Orleans and everywhere else, and I'm starting to work more, and what I'm noticing is there are a lot of crazy artists. There are a lot of artists who are like,
Kevin, is there a sane artist? I've never met them, if there is one.
Yes, but it's like, it's not that you're sane, it's the fact that you're sort of not insane. so it's like, you know, there are some people who, when their artistry, and when they're, and I'm not saying artistry as in like, what's your favorite color, man? I mean like artistry as in like, when what you perceive you've put in the work for, and you've worked so hard for your whole life, the moment that that's threatened, there are people who resort to that other side. You know, we can't, in New Orleans, we see it a lot, you know, like we've all seen musicians get at it.
That's a great point right there, y'all, because when you get, there's money at the end of this tunnel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's like money, fame, fortune, men, women, sex, all drugs, all that shit. Yeah. And once you feel like, no, I'm serious. Once you feel like you're like at the last level and you get cut, they don't want you to pull out the AR-15 on ABC or whatever.
No, as a matter of fact, even that, I was talking to another contestant who made it very far, and they were telling me, they said, yeah, you have no idea, Kevin, you know, you got cut right before top 24. After top 24, if you got eliminated, immediately after, you didn't go get undressed, you didn't do anything, you were brought to the psychiatric evaluator, and you had a therapy session to make sure that you were okay. And it goes as far as, even when you make it, the way that they tell you you've made it, the way that they tell you like good, like this is what they did. This person step forward. Thank you so much. You've worked really hard. However, your idol journey will end. But not here, because you're moving on. Backline, I apologize. It's like so like you have that like, it might be good, it might be bad, but you're always on your toes.
Yeah.
Even duet night, the duet round. This is how that works. You finish genre challenge, and that night they set you up with your duet partner, and you have until the next morning to be prepared with a full duet. You have to be ready to sing the next morning. So
Wow.
genre challenge ended around 11:15, 11:17 p.m. At 12:30, we were on the bus back with our duet partners, getting ready for our next day duet. And
you talk about midnight.
Yes, it was midnight, and we passed midnight, and we're all struggling getting ready for these duets. And you can only pick one song 4 times, so only 4 groups can pick one song. So it'd be like, you might work all night for this one song, and then you get there and it's like, all 4 slots are filled. You're like, oh my gosh. And you have to work with a vocal coach, and your vocal coach has to say, okay, good job, this is how you should do it. All right, good job. There was one group, and they actually aired this. There was one group who picked a song that was not a country song, but they were both country singers. And their vocal coach said, hey, why would you, if you're country singers, why would you not pick a country song? And they made them go back. And the thing is, you only get to work with your vocal coach once, whether they tell you did a good job or not. So they had to come back with a song that they weren't even coached on.
Wow.
So there are levels of psychiatric strain and et cetera that really can get at you if you're not careful.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of that.
That's how life is, man.
Oh yeah.
Got that shit figured out, man. My daddy told me when I was about 15, 16, he said, let me tell you something, boy. I guarantee you one thing, life gonna whoop your ass. And he just walks off. I'm like, what is he talking about? I just want to play PlayStation, you know?
Like, I just got home from school. It's
right. What are you saying?
It's 3:23. I just got home. But no, it's funny, you know, as a matter of fact, even that, the first thing I heard Greg Ajit say, and it was a long time ago. You remember this, I think. It was you know, hi, my name is Greg Ajit, and you know, I've been living, and you know, if you have to ask me about anything, music, life, audits, just ask. And I was like 14 years old, and I'm like, did he just say that? He just,
you gotta know.
Yeah, and no, that was the thing, you know, and you know, especially with COVID, I think all of our income levels, especially, you know, like, I remember G said this right before COVID when he was out with Michael Bublé. He came back and did a masterclass, and he said, if this COVID stuff happens and shuts us down, I'm done. And I was like, and then like, I think like 2 weeks later, I was
done.
Yeah, all of us were done. It's like I was playing 3 nights a week at BB King's, and then it went from making like a great deal of money every week to making nothing.
Mm.
And you know, that kind of jump, you know, it shakes you, it shocks you, especially. It wakes you up to saying, hey, dummy, you know, it's not permanent. It's not something that's just, it's not always going to be sunshine.
Yeah.
And I think back to the question of failure and the feeling of failure with Idol, that's what it sort of reminded me of when they sent me home. It was like, hey, dummy, you got comfortable, didn't you? It's not always going to be sunshine. And it was like, but I wasn't upset. You know, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't anything like that. I was just like, you're right. It's not always sunshine. It's not always sunshine. It's not always going to be your favorite song. It's not always going to be your favorite quote from a movie. Not always your favorite movie. Maybe not even a genre of movie or music that you like. But it's what you got to do. And 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 this is part of your story. This is, for me, it's Idol. Idol is now part of my story. It's like I have that experience, and I was blessed. I got to sit next to Lionel Richie during the duet genre duet round, and I'm right here, and Lionel Richie's sitting up there on the judges table, and he looks down and says, "Hey Kevin, what's up? You look perplexed." and I straight up told him, I said, I don't envy what you got to do. Like, you got to decide who stays, who goes, and I know that has to be hard. And he says, "You know what, Kevin?" Then he stands up and says, "You know what, everybody? Listen, when you make it, and don't get me wrong, you've made it. You're here, so you've made it. But when you make it, when you get everything you want," he looks at me, he goes, "Call me back. We'll have this same conversation. We'll finish this conversation." And after I got kicked off, I tweeted, well, after they aired me not getting put through, because they didn't air me getting kicked off, I tweeted at Lionel Richie, "Hey, we're still going to pick up that conversation one day." Because it's not like, okay, this is the part where the rain comes, so that must be the end of the story. It's not always sunshine. It's all part of your story. These hiccups, these speed bumps, all of it.
Yeah, great. Tell them about proactive perseverance.
man, I love, you sent me that thing about grit the other day too. You sent me grit, man. I mean, I want to circle back to what you were saying about like the psychology stuff too, and just talking about being on a TV show like that, or being in the public eye, or a celebrity musician, all this kind of stuff. And I think it's important for all of our listeners out there to really understand that all of these people that we admire, Kevin and all the cats on American Idol, those are some long days. Those days start at 6 a.m, they end at 11 o'clock at night. And then you need to go home and prepare for the next day in that 8 hours you're supposed to sleep. And so, when it comes to like having a strong psychological foundation within ourselves, it really gets tested when you are like on these high stress environments, when you are touring on the road, like, I know you just came back from Croatia, when you're sitting on the airplane for 16 hours and then you got to get off the plane and play the show. Sometimes things don't work out in our favor, but we are expected to be professionals. And a conversation that I had with a colleague of mine on the road, he made a comment and he said, "Man, some of these cats are trying to be musicians, but we need professionals." And
yep, preach. That
really resonated with me, because I feel like, man, being from a city like New Orleans, we have the best musicians in the world, and I'll stand by that any day of the week.
But
sometimes you need a professional. That really fucked me up, man.
And it's funny. It's hilarious because and it's funny. We see it. It's not even one of those, "Oh man, that's not fair." No, we're just like, you're right. We have guys who are like, "Man, these are the most amazing musicians ever." And then you're like, if only they knew how to dress for the right gig, if only they knew how to show up on time, if only they knew the material that you required them to know to get here.
Yeah.
And that was actually, hey, question. Are there any more American Idol questions? There's stuff I actually am really excited to talk about.
No, let's do this, man. Hey,
what do you want? Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, would you do it again? Do you feel like it was a good move for you? And do you feel like it helped perpetuate your career, or like just leaving and looking back on this? Like, what's the taste in your mouth?
Personally, I wouldn't do American Idol again. Personally. However, I would advise a lot of people to do something like American Idol. I actually told a friend of mine that. I said, my time on Idol, I did it. I did my thing. And I'm gonna bring Idol up one more time in a few to talk about random chance and accidents. But I did my time and I got what I got from it. If you are an artist who can handle that and say that after coming out the ugly side, do it. You're going to learn. You're going to grow into a different type of artist in a good way. You're going to start thinking of other artists in a way that's like, okay, heads up. If you are the fish in the pond that's sort of big, not even the biggest, but sort of big, might be time to check out a new pond with fish who are relatively your size and bigger. So that's where I really did sort of take a real thing from Idol. So no, I wouldn't do it again, but I'd recommend young artists who really feel like they can do something like that to go out there and do it.
I agree with all that 100%. That's why I left New Orleans. I mean, I love New Orleans, don't get me wrong, but that's why I left.
You know, and even in there's so many things that I talk about a lot, and I feel that I told somebody this recently. I said, you know, every musician, especially in New Orleans, every musician has to have some type of real psychology degree, some real philosophy degree. It might not be like a, hey, here's from Loyola, but I mean like something like, hey, you've lived and grown philosophy. Like Socrates didn't have a piece of paper that was like, hey, you're a philosopher.
That's because piece of paper is some bullshit, but that's another subject. That's another subject, Kevin. Keep going. I'm listening.
But you know what I'm talking about. It's like, you know, it's not like, hey, this is what your philosophy is because other people say this is how the world's supposed to work. It's hey, this is how your philosophy is because you've lived this way and you've seen the outcome of it. You don't even have to say that it's the best philosophy. Be the person who can say it's not the best philosophy. In psychology, you just start to develop the idea because you're like, okay, what I've noticed from human behavior, like something my dad always talks about is knowing how to call a show. And that is probably one of the most professional mistakes that gets made. And I actually remember back when you guys let me interview Alan Chang, I remember he was talking about what Michael Bublé has done for the sake of the show. And that's not an example of being some type of way. That's an example of true professionalism. You have to call the show the right way. You have to say the right things. I get grinded on a lot about saying the right thing before I sing a song, before I play a song. Set up the song the right way.
Yeah.
It's those little pieces of professionalism that a lot of people blank out on. So yeah, that's what I have to say on Idol. Now,
well, check this out. Let's check this out. I know you have a lot of things you want to talk about, and we want to get to that. How about this? We would love to play some of your music for a couple seconds, let the people hear you, and then we dig into, man, Kevin, you got it.
All right, go for it, man.
Yo, y'all, check this one out. And I know y'all know this one because this is a cover of the Temptations' funky song. Kevin did a great job with it called Shaky Ground.
Ever since you put me down, my car got repossessed this morning. Harder times ain't seen in years. You better throw me a life preserver before I drown in my own tears. I'm standing on shaky ground. Ever since you put me down, I'm standing on shaky ground. Ever since you put me down.
Yeah, y'all, we can't give y'all too much of that. You need to go out there and buy that record. As you can hear, it is super funky. It's only one problem with that record, Greg. It's only one. You know what it is? I know we can't hear you because you're muted, but that's all right. I'm gonna tell you.
It's no clarinet, no clarinet. I knew it.
Gosh.
Hell no, I wasn't gonna say. Drummer funky, but if I was on it, Or if I was on it, women take their drawers off as soon as they hear the
I'm
first bass drum.
screaming.
Kevin, that's all I'm saying. Boy, you should have called me. I'm available.
Man, oh man, hey, you can say that, but hey, let's talk. Terrence Higgins ain't no joke, man.
That's Terrence. Never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind.
exactly. All of us are like, wait a second.
Never mind.
Like,
Never mind.
Well, that shut Darian up pretty quick.
all of us are like,
My bad.
yo, man.
My bad, Terrence. Nah, never mind. Don't come for me.
Hey man, so Kevin, I know you're a man with a plan. You came here with some things that you wanted to share with us. What did you want to tell us, man? What do you want to talk about? I don't want to pull the conversation in a way that's not going to be honest or appreciate that.
You know, the reason I really want to talk about this is because, you know, none of us know what's coming up. None of us know what's next. So if you have something to leave what you really mean, you know, like leave what you really want to say. I don't know, you know, and then the world is crazy. I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. Y'all don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. So this is what I want to talk about. The work you put in now is going to be for the stuff you get back way later sometimes. You know, me and my father and my whole band, we do a song called I Can't Make You Love Me. And something I talk about before I sing that song is instant gratuity. We as musicians should know and understand and accept that we will not always get that. We are not always going to get that, oh man, that was amazing. Thank you so much. You're amazing. You're a great musician. We're not going to get that. Things happen by luck. Things happen by random chance. Things happen on accident. And then things happen from the work that you've continuously put in. Now, I have examples of that. Things happening by luck. By luck, I was born into a family of musicians, full of them. And my father, being the bass player that he is, played with many of the greatest musicians ever. You know, he, in one of them specifically for this story, Henry Butler. And a lot of us remember Henry Butler for exactly who Henry Butler was. One of the most amazing musicians as well as photographers. And we're not saying blind musicians. We're not saying blind photographers. We're saying most amazing musicians and photographers of all time. Now, because of that, by luck, when Henry passed, Disney was looking for someone who could play New Orleans piano and sing. And they said, well, we thought of Henry, but since Henry's gone, your son is who we thought of. They called my dad, and that's what they said. We thought of Henry, but since Henry is gone, your son is someone we thought of. And that's not something that was like, oh, this is going to happen because we set it up to happen. It was by luck, by chance, by accident. I am very proud to say that I am a Hammond artist. I am actually part of the Hammond artist family by accident. So on American Idol, and this is what I was going to bring up. On American Idol, I actually played three songs for my audition. They only showed That's How Strong My Love Is and the little bit of Jambalaya on the Bayou. But I also performed my rendition of Valerie. And in that rendition, I take a melodeon solo, a melodeon melodica, but I take a melodeon solo. Yeah. So because of that, during That's How Strong My Love Is, I had my melodeon sitting on the piano. And in big, bold red letters, it read Hammond. The day after the audition aired, my father got a call from Hammond, USA. And they said, hey, we were just informed about our melodeon being on American Idol. We want Kevin to be part of the artist family. That is by accident. I had no, and Mr. Polero saw the episode, and I called him. I said, Mr. Polero, they want me to be a Hammond artist. He said, yeah, man, you did great product placement. I was like, he was like, I thought that was real. He said, I thought that was real clever. He said, you did that on purpose, right? I said, no, I didn't do that on purpose. I just sat down my stuff. and that's what I mean. That's a random chance, but it's on accident. I accidentally became a Hammond artist. And by chance, my actual organ player for my band, they saw the footage and said, hey, and we want your organ player for your band to be on our artist family roster as well. See, that's how certain things work. And then there's the continuous part. So I joined Facebook in 2014. I was a little bit behind the game.
Man, you're way back behind the game.
Yeah, man.
But 24 to 2003.
But one of the first people that I followed, one of the first business pages I followed was Basin Street Records. And I was always seeing Mark Samuels posting about Kermit, Mark Samuels posting about DeVell Crawford, Mark Samuels posting about Lena Prima. And I was like, man, that's real cool. Maybe one day I'll be on some label like that, and they'll put out a CD of me and help me out. And years of me playing blues and me playing jazz first, then playing blues, and everything else working. Years later, they go, hey, we're interested in your son. When they tell my father, and my father, I have to talk about that. My father is my manager. He's the guy who keeps me humble. He's the guy who keeps me solid. And they call my dad, and then my dad relays info to me. So I said, hey, we're interested in your son. Let's talk. And well, my dad said, hey, can you please talk to me about my son? And they were like originally saying, hey, we don't know about a new artist, about signing a new artist right now. We're interested, but we don't know about signing a new artist right now. And they talked for hours and hours. They were supposed to just meet for about an hour. They were there for about 4.5. And they talked and talked and talked. And next thing I know, my dad says, oh, they're real interested. They're real interested in this next album that we're about to put out. They're really interested in you and in the band. They're interested. In between that time, I emailed a man named Marcus Linder, who's in Austria, about, hey, my name is Kevin Gullage. My dad has played that festival with Henry Butler. I mean, with Gary Brown, with Vashti Jackson, with Chucky C. I really would love to be out there just to play your festival at some point. And they said, your dad's Tony Gullage, right? I was like, yeah. Okay. 6 years later, which is this year, because that was in 2017. This year, they invited me to headline, not just play the festival, but headline the festival. It's the years of work that not only I put in, but the years of work my father put in, the years of work that went all into becoming the person I am today. Because if they would have called the Kevin from 6 years ago to play that festival, I'm not going to lie. The words crash and burn would have had a completely new example in the dictionary, because that's not the same person. That's not the same musician. So it's important to say, let me not worry about what I get back now. Let me not worry about what comes instantly back to me. Because let's be honest, most things won't. In music, most things won't, especially. Like, you're not going to put out a song and not everyone is going to put out a song. And next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, your song is going viral. That is very rare. And everyone thinks that it just happens all the time. It doesn't. It's for everyone that does go viral, there's like 12 million that didn't.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, I got a real question for you.
Go for it.
Hinted towards this, but what is your legacy, or what do you want it to be?
You know, I played at BB King's Blues Club from 2017 all the way to 2020 when it closed. And up in the top of BB King's Blues Club, there's a mural. And on that mural, there's BB King in the center. Ernie Cato, Fats Domino, Alan Toussaint, and James Booker, if I'm not mistaken. Before every show I played, I went up there and I just stared for a second. I have to live up to that somehow. I have to make myself live up to that somehow. And if I don't get to live up to it in the terms of like I'm an amazing pianist, singer, songwriter, arranger, I have to say at least I tried my hardest. And possibly, if I'm lucky, one day there's going to be a kid who's 6 years old like I was, and he's learning about actual music, and he's looking and saying, oh man, look at the magic Kevin Gullage created that one time. My legacy isn't for me to be forever memorialized. No, my legacy is to say, okay, let me inspire the next people to do it. Because I play a music that's a little bit different from a lot of other music. Jazz is taught in schools. Classical music is taught in schools. Jazz is seen as like, oh, there are jazz clubs everywhere. Everyone wants to be some type of subsidiary of jazz. Someone wants to play neo soul, but they start in jazz. Someone wants to play and it keeps going. I play blues music. And during this time, it's gotten really weird being a young New Orleans pianist because of how many just dropped so fast.
Hey man, you do realize I'm from Mississippi, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. No, I know. Trust me, I know.
I'm like, wait a minute.
No, and you know, even being from Mississippi, and there are other young people who also play blues music who I know might share this same feeling, like Kingfish. Kingfish inspires me without a doubt. Kingfish is a year younger than me, which is sort of weird to say out loud, but Kingfish is a year younger than me. But I check out Kingfish's stuff and I'm like, man, he's connecting with the blues the way that I think most young musicians should connect with music.
Mm.
He's a true product of that Mississippi blues line. And when you hear it, you're like, this guy has the Mississippi players in him.
Well, what is the blues, and like what is that connection?
I went to jazz school, and you know, a lot of people said they were playing blues in jazz school.
They are not.
Thank you, Darian. Because I'm not gonna out nobody, but playing this, and is it cool if I play right now? Is it cool if I playing this?
Play? Come on.
That's one thing, and it's a blues because it's C-Jam blues. But we all know the difference between there's a big difference between that and what people call the blues.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you something. Growing up, I played the blues. It wasn't no jazz in Mississippi. Just so motherfuckers know what's really going on.
Exactly.
Ain't no jazz gigs. One a month.
Right.
I went on the road with cats. Blues.
Mm-hmm.
I played on a chilling circuit.
And
I played in clubs.
Exactly. Only a few people even know what these kind of terms mean.
Yeah.
Like we all. I'm a student of the Satchmo Summer Jazz Program, as well as NOCA, as well as Sanaa. I've been schooled a lot in jazz. However, one of the biggest lessons ever that I came from Satchmo Summer Jazz Camp one day, learning to play blues. Play a blues. Notice I'm saying a blues.
Yeah, it's different. I concur.
And I went to BB King's Blues Club that night to play a set. Boy, I thought I was burning. I thought I was getting down, because as soon as I was playing in C, I was like, now you see the issue. My dad came and said, Kevin, he pulled me aside. And I think every young blues musician has had this one. Kevin, I know that you can't. You're up every day playing blues and playing jazz in school and playing out and all this, and you know that's real cool. He said, "Boy, don't you ever do that again. Don't you ever come in the blues club and play jazz again." That's what I noticed. I was like, "There's a difference between playing a blues and the blues." So you know, I when you ask me what the blues is, I'm like, you ever been on a back porch?
Right.
You ever been on a back porch and heard somebody with a slide guitar? You ever been on the corner of a street and heard somebody just playing and it's not coming from nowhere but the heart and soul?
Or have you ever been to church, motherfucker? How about that?
Have you? Let's be specific. Let's get specific. Have you ever been to the right church? Say it like that, because you can go to church. And I'm not gonna lie, nowadays you might hear more classical jazz stuff in church, because this, whatever that is, that little progression stuff, man, that's not what the church that a lot of blues musicians even grew up checking out. Blues musicians, a lot of us had to check out quartet musicians. Guys who were just 1, 2, 3, 4, like the 5 Blind Boys of Alabama. There's a reason those 5 blind boys play gospel music a certain way and can play blues a certain way. So,
Kevin, we getting close, man.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, you good, baby. You good.
You know, and it's
1 on 10. I'm all about the blues, man. I just want to let you know we're getting close.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah, man.
I want to get out of here without letting you give the people the opportunity to connect with you online, buy your records, buy your I Love Blues t-shirts. My name is Gullage, whatever you got, man. Tell the people how to connect with you and where they can buy your stuff at.
Let's see what I got. Let's see. Okay, so let's see if I can do this flawlessly. So
come on, Kevin, you got
this. I used to be the guy who had the Kevin Gullage band hat, and that's cool. But right now I'm the guy who has the Kevin and the Blues Groovers hat, so that's even cooler for me. But you can check out Kevin and the Blues Groovers, Something Old, Something New, Something Borrowed Blues from Basin Street Records. It just got released, and hey, everybody, it's a real cool record. I hope that you check it out. And also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Kevin and the Blues Groovers, as well as Kevin Gullage. That's Kevin, the Gullage, like a seagull's age. Now, to finish up what I actually have to say, though, just since we only have a little bit of time left, I hope that young musicians understand it's not about what's happening in front of you right now, because the plan is never what you really set it to be. Like Darian, like you said, you grew up playing blues music, and look at us and look playing jazz all over the place, man. Greg grew up under Mr. Bat playing clarinet, man. Look at Greg taking these tenor saxophone players on jumbotrons, taking these tenor sax solos on jumbotrons. And man, I went to school. I was born into a family of gospel musicians, and I was schooled in jazz music. And next thing I know, I'm playing the blues, man. You know, and those unexpected twists and turns, those are what makes you grow into who you're supposed to be. Like, I had this dream of being the jazz musician who lived in New York in a New York loft and wore turtlenecks all the time. I play gigs in 3-piece suits, and I sweat through most of them playing blues, and hey, you know, that's part of it. But yeah, that's my main thing. Don't check it out for what's in front of you. Don't check it out for what's happening and what you'll instantly get back. Check it out for what's for what you don't know is going to happen. Because man, these corners are mighty sharp when you take those turns, but like what's on the other side is the destination you're supposed to get to. So just be prepared, you know. I think that's my spiel.
Kevin, you speak like you're a 65-year-old man, been around the world 300 times with 55 CDs. And you know what's killing about that is I know when you're 65, you're going to have gone around the world 25 times with 35 CDs.
Yeah, man.
Say, man, we're both very proud of you. I'm proud of you, man. You've done so much incredible stuff. And, you know, having known you for all these years, you've always conducted yourself with the utmost class, and you've always been far more mature than your age the number next to your age. And, man, we're super proud of you. Keep it up. And we look forward to turning on the TV again in a couple of weeks and seeing you wherever you might be, whatever you might be doing.
Thanks, man. I'm super excited for what's coming up. And trust me, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up. So yeah, just sit back, relax, and have a whole lot of fun.
There you go. Yeah, I said everything Greg just said. And Greg, you know, we've never actually spoken about this, but one of my greatest regrets as we developed Second Line Arts Collective into an empire is that Kevin never came back. It was because I thought Kevin was extremely talented and the kids that he was around were jerks. And so I wanted him, some of them, and it's just true. And I tell them that too, they know. And I just wanted the opportunity for you to come back again to make it what you wanted it, because we don't call it Sanaa Jazz Workshop. We call it Sanaa Music Workshop, so that everyone can freely express their idea of what music should be.
And yeah, I hope you understand something, Darian and Greg. From the get-go, when Greg introduced it at NOCA, I loved the idea and I loved what was coming up. And even while I was there, I didn't get what I thought I wanted at the time. I got what I needed.
There you go.
So there's a big difference. And you guys got to know you're the reason for that. Like Greg told me, that was the same camp where you two took your own time out of your schedule, out of your lunch break, actually, just to check out my songs, my original songs. And you were like, hey, Kev, do me a favor and play the song. That's what you said. And Greg said, and I loved it because you were like, hey, Kev, you were like, Kev, I want to hear more of you in the song. That's what Darian said. Greg goes, Kevin, somebody told me this a long time ago. Pianists play the intro to your song. And I played a lot. And Greg said, pianists have 88 keys. And for some reason, they try to hit each and every one before they sing the first word. and those are the things that stick with you. So actually, with this next one, are you about to play the second audio clip at all?
We're not gonna play it.
Darn. Well, if you check out that original, and I mean everybody go check out that original.
Oh, you know what? We'll play it. Let's play it, man.
I hope I did you guys what you wanted to hear.
We're gonna play a few seconds. It's called Moving On. Then we're gonna move on after that. Here we go.
Gotcha.
Girl, I called you when I knew you'd be home. But for some reason, you didn't answer the phone. So don't lie to me, girl, if we're over. I ought to know. I ought to know. I called again later. Some man answered the phone. I asked, who is this? He said, that don't matter. Just don't call here no more. So I guess what we had.
Hey, man, I'm going to have to play that later with my lady. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, now.
Kevin, man, look, man, thank you so much for coming on the Working Arts Project, man. It's been a true pleasure to hang and listen to you and pick your brain. And it's been a beautiful and uplifting experience for me, man. So there you go.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you so much for having me.
Kevin, you're the man. We love you. Thank you.
Love you guys, man. Thanks, G. All right.
All right, y'all. That's it. My name is Darian Douglas.
My name is Gregory Ajid.
And I'm still Kevin Gullage.
I love it when they get to that. Hey, we'll catch y'all